Hello guys, I am a hot damn mess today, but we're just gonna go with it. Life is not perfect, none of us are perfect, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I had to go back to the dentist and it was a hot mess. I won't even go into that because I know that the dentist is a very triggering place for a lot of people, me included. Just know that I'm on my way to recovery right now and I'm in a little bit of pain, but I took some Motrin right before I left and hopefully that will make it a little better. You guys see the dog seat cover. This morning I thought Axel's getting his allergy shot and I swore I made it for Friday morning, and I get there and they're like, oh, Dr. So-and-so isn't working today. Your appointment's actually tomorrow. So poor guy, I woke him up super early. I mean, I know he doesn't care, but it's me just being a weird dog parent. But we got up extra early, put the stuff in the car, but luckily our vet is not too far away. I would have been kind of, a little annoyed if I had driven 30 minutes or something. So anyway, but that's what happens. He gets his allergy shot the first time in mid to late April, and then he'll get it again in mid to late July, and that will take him through the end of the summer. But what we're talking about today is Love Meg. You guys, Love Meg has a sense of self-importance to the 100th degree. She absolutely thinks that she's just done nothing wrong. I think that this is the same for a lot of influencers. I talked about this a little while ago. They're unable to remove themselves from the situation and look at it and say, why are people upset with me? Why am I hearing so much negative feedback regarding a decision that I made or an announcement that I did? Why is it that a large percentage of people are calling me out for this? I'll give you guys an example. Some of you guys might remember last year, I made an error in judgment and I reacted to a clip that was taken out of context. And once I started hearing the negative feedback, I took myself out of the situation and I said, why are people upset? What do I do to remedy this situation? And I came up with a remedy that I felt was the best thing to do. And I took down the video and I made a donation using the small amount of AdSense that I collected for the short time that video was posted. I felt like that was the best thing to do. Am I saying that I'm a fucking genius and humanitarian? Absolutely not. You have to be able to just remove yourself from situations and try to recognize why people might be upset with you, why people might be giving you negative criticism, why people are having so many opinions about something that you said or did. And I don't think that a lot of influencers have the capability to do that. But Love Meg put up this video on Instagram and she was saying how in some people's life she's the superhero and in other people's lives she's the villain. And it's a bunch of clips of her and her kids just candid. I'll play it so you guys can hear the sound. Of course, I'll blur her kids and then I'll keep going with my thoughts.
I often think about the different characters I play in everybody's story. I'm a villain in some, a hero in others, and none of it has anything to do with the person I am. The lens that others view you through is coloured by their upbringing, beliefs, and individual experiences. Some people see your bright personality as endearing, and others see it as annoying. Some people think you're weak and emotional, and others feel safe to be themselves around you. Some people think you're rude and selfish, and others respect the way you stand up for yourself. And none of it has anything to do with who you really are.
So you guys see the level of self-importance there? It's very much, I'm just over here living my best life. Haters are gonna hate. People that like me, go you. People that don't like me, that's your problem. I'm always the first one to recognize that there are people out there that just don't like you. They just don't like you. I say this all the time, and that's just part of being online. But what's going on with Meg right now is she's being called out for good reason. People are unhappy with her for valid reasons. And it's not fake outrage, and it's not people using her name for clicks and views. It's commentary channels, and I know I've talked about her, to my knowledge, I've talked about her more than any other commentary channel, but it's because I see the importance in giving her subscribers a place to vent their frustrations. I get that it's frustrating, and we're going to talk about it. Do I think that she's the worst person ever? Absolutely not. There are so many people on this platform that are way more scammy and greedy than love Meg, but it just so happens that right now in this point in time, she's one of those people who is greedy and entitled and money hungry, so that's why we're talking about it often. I've also heard from several of you guys that you'll leave a comment and say, thanks for making the video. You're saying exactly what I've been thinking, but I thought that I was alone. I thought that I was just being nitpicky. I thought that I was just looking into it too far. And I'm here to say, no, you're not. You're not looking into it too far. You're not overanalyzing anything. And again, I will say what I said before. If she would have continued to upload on a normal schedule on YouTube and just been putting different content behind a paywall, or content that would have been demonetized or had limited ads on it, nobody would have anything to say, because YouTubers do that all the time. I guarantee you guys know at least 5 YouTubers that you can think of somewhat quickly that have Patreon. I'm pretty sure that you guys can think of that, right? Oh, that's an Airstream. Those are so cool. And when you think of YouTubers that have Patreon, it's typically because they want to give extra content to their subscribers. They're not a beauty guru who is saying, okay, well, yeah, I can't post this type of beauty content because it's considered a little bit outside of my niche. That would be like a beauty guru who does try-on hauls coming out and saying, well, I can't put shop with me vlogs on my beauty channel because it'll get demonetized and the algorithm won't like it. That's just a total crock of shit. There's no reason why that content couldn't be put up, even though it's a little bit outside of your niche. If you really love your community, like these influencers constantly want to say, I love you guys, you're my family. Bullshit. They would be okay with once in a while posting this different video because they recognize that this community that has built them up can also break them down very, very quickly. And that was like the other thing that I said. If that's what you want to do, if YouTube just isn't paying you what you want to be making anymore, be honest with your subscribers. Honesty is kind of like poverty in influencers. They're like oil and vinegar. They are constantly being caught in lies. They're constantly being caught in half-truths or not being transparent enough. And I don't know when people will understand that lying is never going to be the good way out. You're always going to get caught. You're always going to be having people trying to put two and two together. When I get home this afternoon, I'm filming a new video on Dad Challenge podcast because the motherfucker literally sat there and said something on his channel. He said the words. He realized how fucked up it was, what he let out. It had to do with SA, so there's going to be a trigger warning on that other video. And then when he got called out, he decided to backpedal and gaslight the shit out of people. And I see people eating it up, and it literally blows my mind. He's gaslighting you directly in front of your face, and y'all are just like eating it up. Like, how is it possible to hear what you heard, then the after the fact comes, and it's involved a whole bunch of gaslighting, and people eat it up like it doesn't even matter? So that to me is like the really crazy part, is just seeing people be lied to. And if you want to be lied to and you're okay with it, that's your journey. But don't make other people feel some type of way because they're not okay with lying and they're not okay with being toxic. Because believe it or not, there is a small percentage of people on the internet that still have morals, and they still have a set of standards on who it is that they like to support online. I know it's hard to believe, but there are some of us out there. And I'm not saying that I'm not the moral police. I'm not the exhibit A of what people should be doing. But I can tell you guys that it will be a cold day in hell the day that I come up on my channel and deliberately lie. And when I get called out for it, I have the audacity to gaslight you guys and say that, oh, that's not really what you heard. You know, my favorite retail store is Nordstrom. Do you guys feel the same way? Am I like that just because I worked at Nordstrom? That was my first real job. I mean, I had a job before that, but I still consider Nordstrom to be my first serious job. It's just kind of like Nordstrom has this feeling, this ambiance when you shop there. Don't get me wrong. There's still sales associates at Nordstrom that can be very annoying, but I don't find them to be as obnoxious and persistent as other department stores like Macy's, Bloomingdale's. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about today is Sunkissed Mama. So Sunkissed Mama is full on clickbait. Her channel went from once in a while doing a clickbait video to now it almost feels like not all, but a lot of her videos are clickbait. So she definitely took some notes from Jess Fam on clickbaiting everyday normal stuff so that your video gets viewed. And I've always said, I don't think that clickbait is the worst thing ever. It's not, some kind of offense that people should be canceled over. Absolutely not. But it shows this level of just being desperate. And the kind of line, I draw a line in between normal clickbait and clickbaiting trauma or medical issues or really scary stuff. And that's what Sunkissed Mama did a couple days ago. I think the video came out 2 days ago. She likes to clickbait her children getting lost. And once you watch the video that I watched yesterday, her child was like in the elevator and he went on the elevator without the dad. It doesn't even matter like the specifics of this story because they didn't actually lose him. Okay, it's not like he was lost and they had to go on this grand, excursion to find their child.
Anyways, Law got lost again, you guys. So this morning on the way to breakfast, we left our hotel room and we walked to the elevators and I realized I forgot my phone. So I ran back, and then when I was coming back, Ayla's crying, there's no Law, and there's just Kikoa. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And he's like, Law jumped in the elevator. Like, he said the doors were literally closing and he slid through to jump in. This is my thought of what happened. Law, if you guys know him, he also got lost in Disney. And my friend Kiera also says this because she watches him like when we go to Disney and stuff, that Law likes to wander. If you guys know Law, he likes to wander. He is such like, he is so focused on everything around him and he's not actually paying attention to what needs to be paid attention to. So what I think happened was he was paying attention to something. He turned around, saw an elevator closing. He thought we were in there and he hopped in. So Kikoa's like, it's okay, Ayla. Like, Ayla's more freaked out. She's such the older sister vibes. And I'm just like, what? The elevator opens and he jumps in. And I was so just like distraught in that moment that I just stayed there, which thank goodness I did. So when Law had hopped into the elevator and he realized that his parents were not in the elevator, my poor baby, he said that there were a boy and a girl, a sibling in there, an older kids, a boy and a girl. They saw what had happened and they said, I'm gonna press number 4, that's what floor we were on, stay here and get back up to your parents. So luckily I was there. I'm waiting for the elevator to get down. Kikoa them just left. The elevator opens and out walks Outlaw. And so and he's just, it was such a moment again, which it literally happened in a span of 2 minutes. Like from when Kikoa got in the elevator down, another one came and opened and it was Law. But thank goodness I stayed on that floor. And so we took that time to talk about things with them. I wanted to talk about it with you guys and share our story because my dad, it's funny, you know how you have those like childhood stories, right? This was a story in my family that my sister got lost in the elevators when she was little, when she was like 4 years old, my older sister. So I never thought that it would happen to us. And after it did, Kikoa and I were talking about it after. We're so grateful that we did what we did and that I wanted to share with you guys. If your child ever gets lost in an elevator and there's 2 of you, make sure one person stays on that floor and the other person goes down. If he would have came back up and we weren't there, that could have been a full disaster in its own. All right.
It wasn't that serious, first of all. And second of all, why aren't you holding your child's hand? Now, for any of y'all that are new, I'm not a mom. I'm a dog mom. I don't have human children. But what I will say is that I still look at these scenarios and I think, what is the logical thing to do when you're in a new environment with your small children? I would say one of the first things would be to make sure that your child is holding your hand. Make sure that they are somehow attached to you. Hold their hand, hold the back of their shirt. Just hold on to them. Now, don't get me started on the whole kid leash thing. That's a whole different conversation. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm suggesting that as a solution. But hold your child's hand. Somehow hold on to them. If they're really little, carry them. Or put them in a stroller or something. If they wander around a lot, and evidently this is not the first time that this has happened to her son, if he's a wanderer in new environments, then I would suggest putting him in a stroller. If he does not listen to you, and if he doesn't like having his hand held, put him in a stroller or carry him. I get that carrying kids can be annoying, but it's just so unbelievable that she would clickbait something like that when it wasn't near as serious as what she made it out to be, first of all. And second of all, parents actually lose their children. I don't know if she's too, dumb. I don't like to use that word very often, but it does seem like a lot of these influencers are just dumb. There are parents that really lose their children. So before you clickbait something like that, why don't you try to associate it to, is someone going to come across this video who has actually lost a child? This clickbait could be very triggering for them, and it will also upset people because I'm utilizing it as a way to get attention. To me, it was just completely out of line to utilize something like that for clicks and views. Again, I say this every single time. Am I surprised? No, not whatsoever. But that also doesn't mean that it should be ignored or glazed over. I mean, could you guys imagine, now before I get into this comparison, no, I'm not comparing having human children to having a dog. It's not a direct comparison, even though a great deal of responsibility and a good deal of money is involved in both. I don't want anyone trying to say that, oh, she thinks that, dogs are like humans. That's not it. But could you imagine the absolute cancellation that I would go through if I put out a video saying, I lost my dog? I lost my dog on vacation. People click on it because y'all as my subscribers are attached to my dog and interested in, what's happening with him. And I fucking love that so much. But if you watch that video and I came out with some kind of story like, oh yeah, he was running on the beach and he hid behind something and I didn't see him for a minute, or something along those lines, less than a minute even. My dog went out of my sight for 24 seconds and I'm going to use this as a video to say I lost my dog on vacation. People would be absolutely irate with me, as they should be. And there is no way that I would, number one, I just wouldn't do that. But number two, I would hear about that for the next 8 months. I guarantee it. But the whole thing was just so completely ridiculous. I sit there and I look at these stupid influencers and just think, there are so many other people on social media and on YouTube who are actually not doing the kind of stuff that these influencers are doing. They're utilizing their platform for good. They're actually entertaining people, or educating people about certain topics that maybe you didn't learn about or you want to know more about. There's just so many people that are doing it. They're just doing it different, and those are the people that I like to focus on. But unfortunately, the messy, dumb influencers is what most people are interested in hearing about, because if you're doing it right and you're doing a really good job, the entertainment value in that is not instead of a commentary video, I'm going to do a compliments video and just compliment how good people are doing. That's why in my recent Q&A that I did, I wanted to shout out a couple of YouTubers, because someone asked and it obviously got my mind going. Yeah, like there are some good people on this platform. They're not all lying, cheating, and being entitled and annoying. So either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.